Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel. This is my first video on this channel and I would be really happy if you could tell me what to improve in the comments. If you liked the video I would be happy about you subscribing to my channel and or like this vid. Alright, let's get this video started. THX. What are some signs your crush likes you? You talk for ages about nothing and have a great time. Also dirty text. A few years ago, there was this girl I was super into. We hung out all the time, talked constantly, and generally just got along great. I'd asked her out early on in our friendship, but she'd said she didn't feel like she had the time for a relationship, so we just remained friends. So we'd talk or text pretty much every day. One evening, she's telling me about how she loves corsets, and had just bought some. Ends up sending me pics of herself modeling them. Very attractive, especially since they covered everything. She asked which one I liked most. Later on she invited me to a belly dancing performance she'd taken up the hobby a few years before. I, not being completely fucking oblivious, brought up giving a relationship a try, and she said yes. But then she said we couldn't let our classmates, we were in the same program in college, know we were dating. And she took a job that ate up the vast majority of her time outside of classes. And so we'd only been on a few dates over about 3 months when she asked if we could put the relationship on pause until we finished school. Then after we graduated she basically stopped talking to me completely, or anyone else from our classes. Girl at work and I started talking a lot, met up for coffee a few times. We were talking and hanging out so much her roommate apparently asked her straight up if this was a thing. Which it absolutely would have been, except she was a traveler filling in while we were short-staffed, and thus was only in town for a few months. While both of us felt a connection, it's really hard to make a long-distance relationship work, and that's if you have a good solid history going into the long-distance aspect. We'd only known each other for a few weeks, and only gone out a few times. We remain friends, and I even went to visit her at her new assignment earlier this year. But unless she ends up coming back to my area for a while, I don't think we could really be anything more than friends. When I really like someone I kind of get overly shy and quiet around them. Basically give them the signs that I don't like them. It sucks. I did that once. It went on for several years, basically ignoring them. Not my brightest moment. And then you randomly call them at 2 AM in the morning just to drunkenly ask how they are doing. In general, people who like you are going to go out of their way to try and see you or communicate with you. So, for example, if you were to ask this person to hang out with you, and possibly your friends if you're not at that date stage yet, and you get a response like oh well I was going to go deuces but I can totally blow that off, you are probably at the very least in their good graces. These kind of things never happened in my life. It's like a fairy tale or a movie, sounds very unrealistic to me. It's kind of comforting that it's reality for other people. Laughing at all your jokes even if they aren't funny, but what if all of my jokes are funny? What do I do then? Become a famous stand-up comic? What a dumb question. You catch him staring at you. He laughs at all of your jokes, even the bad ones. He tries to contact you, touch you, do activities. When he starts to use words, easily noticeable with slang, they've picked up from you. When you make a self-deprecating comment, and they want to join in on the self-deprecation. When she winks with both eyes. When her hair waves towards your direction. When she uses her lungs to take in oxygen in your direction. When she is existing in the general vicinity around you. Okay, hang on. I think this common misconception may be the source of some misunderstandings. When she looks at you for 0.7 seconds. You should probably just ask, do you wanna go out sometime? Like on a real date. Depending on their answer, it's a pretty good sign whether or not they're into you. But most people are too scared to even ask for fear of the answer. If you're looking for subtle hints, clues, or signals, they're usually not subtle at all. We all know what people do when they like somebody. They look for excuses to spend time with them. They make eye contact. They laugh at their jokes. They touch them, as in, oh you're so funny, pats hand dart. If you're not seeing any of these, odds are you're not on their radar. If you do see these things, it could be that you're just a really good friend. So in the end, just coming right out and asking is usually the way to go. When she asks to crash at your place at 1 AM and keeps insisting to sleep in your bed with you instead of on the couch. Apparently when a girl keeps trying to get you to let her sleep with you, it's a pretty big sign. I'm also apparently oblivious as fuck when it comes to really big signs. Only the next morning after said scenario had passed did I realize she had other intentions than just getting some sleep. She says she can be her weird self around you. Also when you tell her you enjoy being around her, spending time with her, and getting to know her, to which she replies same dart. They ask you out. They don't cancel. If the first date goes well she will text you after immediately and basically prod you to see up another date. If they just wanna fuck, they'll come up with any reason possible to come over and stay longer than they intended. Actions speak louder than words. If they say that they like you, but don't make an effort to respond to texts, don't call when they say they will, and cancel or fail to make plans to hang out, it's pretty much guaranteed that it's not going to work. It sucks. This is what I'm going through right now, and it happened to me with the last guy I was talking to too. I knew when I walked up to him and his eyes got really wide and he started stuttering. Or I'd say hello and he trembled, got butterflies. His boners were impressive. Then he got super shy and quiet, his body super tense. So I said something about it and he yelled at me, but both he and the argument was super sexy, so there's that. Now we just nod at each other, if that. Otherwise we pretend to ignore each other, but stare while the other isn't looking. The other day, I walked near him and he forgot to look away, just stood in a trance until I got close. Then he looked down at his phone and walked in the other direction so he could look at me from a less noticeable spot. You know, like people who really like each other do. Because that makes sense. TLDR, inappropriate crushes are awkward. When she asks you to put your pee-pee into her wawa, can never be too sure before that happens. That might not always be true. Could just be lust going on there. Maybe when she's asked for it a couple times though, how do I know she isn't just being polite? Is she Canadian? When there's a lot more physical contact than necessary. Make a joke. They have to lean forward and slap your knee. React to an interesting story they told. They need to caress your shoulder and explain it further. She leans on you while talking as if she wanted to get closer. Looks nervous, but only with you, unless you're her boss, but it's borderline sexual harassment. Don't do this. She finds lousy reasons to stay with you all the time or extend the conversation. But all of this combined because each stuff anyone will say, isolately could be explained by another reason. Increased text or messaging can be a sign, particularly if they're buzzing you more frequently. The genuine way is to just ask, what would you say if I told you I'd like to get you know you better? Saves a lot of fucking around, and maybe even straight to ducking. If they laugh and smile while talking to you. If they agree to hang out with you outside of work school. If they start kissing you back after you walk up and kiss them. Notice if they act nervous, anxious, or hyper around you. Depending on your crush's personality, they may show signs of nervousness or extra energy when you're around them. Signs of nerves mean that they want to make a good impression on you and are worried about saying or doing the wrong thing, while being hyper points to their excitement to be hanging out with you. For example, if your crush gets flustered when talking or fidgets a little more than usual, they are likely interested in you. See if your crush is sweating or blushing. For other signs they may be a little nervous around you. Thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video with your friends. You will be blessed with a lot of good vibes and happy days. Bye.